5 broadcast meteorologist Rick Dicker back to you in the studio.
Rick, thanks so much. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Rick. And of course, you guys have been saying all morning long, you and Rick, that this is a wind-driven fire, and it continues to be.
Absolutely. Just to expand on the weather a little bit more and what is actually happening with the winds, right? It's not just in this area. Let's take a look at what the wind situation is. If we could possibly put that in maybe one of the little boxes, you can see that the winds are still blowing consistently pretty hard across Southern California, particularly this area here where that fire is burning. Santa Clarita, Sylmar, near Sandburg, you can see these are sustained winds nearing 35, 40 miles per hour. Even at the coast, I know this graphic's not showing it, but I'm seeing near Oxnard a 40-mile-per-hour wind gust in just the last few minutes. As we pan across the rest of LA County, not too bad down near Torrance, the South Bay, Beverly Hills, up near Baldwin Park, lighter conditions there. But near Orange County and Anaheim, Fullerton, we're looking at 20 to 25 miles per hour. The wind gusts are much higher below those canyons and passes near Mission Viejo, 20 miles per hour. Relative humidity is down to single digits right now, so this is adding to the problem. It's just creating more fuel. All of that brush that we had, that growth from the above average rainfall that we had this season is now turning into just kindling, just more firewood for these fires. Here's the big picture. High pressure is in control of our weather right now. This is what's driving those winds, right? See that area of low pressure to the left? You can kind of see it in the satellite radar images. That's going to start moving in. That's going to weaken that ridge of high pressure a little bit, which is great news because we're going to start to feel that sea breeze, that onshore flow by this upcoming weekend. Until then, though, red flag warnings are in effect, high wind warnings in effect through this afternoon and evening before winds really start to calm down by this weekend. By Sunday into Monday, you're going to notice a big difference. Look at the temperatures drop a little bit. Today, it's going to be dry and warm, 88 degrees for downtown LA, and then it starts to lower to 81 on Sunday, and then the 70s as we head into next week. So hang in there, you guys.
All right, Maria.
Thanks, Maria. Well, Bob DeCastro, of course, has been hanging out with commuters all morning long.
He's been stuck. He's been stuck on the 5 along with many of his friends.
I cannot imagine the level of frustration around you.
Right. And in fact, I think you're talking to someone, and let's find out how long that person's been stuck there. Good morning, Bob.
Yep, I'm not the only one stuck. I can tell you there are hundreds of drivers, truck drivers especially, stuck here on the 5 freeway, shut down in both directions. We're still close to the Roxford Street exit on the 5 freeway. I have LaShawn here, who's pulled over the side of the road. What time was it, LaShawn, when you pulled over?
I pulled over, I started driving at 2 a.m., hit this traffic at 4 a.m. and decided to pull over at 7 a.m. because my drive time was running out. I literally only went approximately 2.7 miles in 4 hours.
2.7 miles in 4 hours. Now describe to me, because you were here early in the morning, it was dark, and as you're pulling up to this Roxford exit that's now closed, you said you decided to pull over because you saw the fire.
There are actually flames on both sides of the Roxford exit, and I just knew if I continued to go forward, I would be stuck in the middle of zero visibility, and that's not something that I would want to do.
Yeah. And you're a former firefighter.
I am a former firefighter. Got my start as a volunteer with Los Angeles, Oakland, as well as San Jose, and I've had a professional career with the city of Atlanta.
So you just knew not to take the chances, that this was just better for you to pull over?
Yes, sir. I just knew, and I really wish some of these other truckers would go ahead and take the time and pull over. You see, I've left space in front of me for someone to pull in.
We just talked to a truck driver here they told me they were driving since 3 in the morning, and they were just literally circling the area trying to wait until this opens up. And there's no telling when this is opening up. You've been in contact with other drivers in your company, and what are you telling them?
I'm telling them to go ahead and pull over. I'm trying to get to Bakersfield, California, and they're going as far as San Francisco and or San Leandro, California. We're all having to take the same route, I-5 to 99, and cut over. But they need to pull over and know, they're trying to get their load through. But what's going to happen is they're going to get caught in the middle of this fire. And like I said, if you look ahead, there's zero visibility there. And that's a dangerous situation, not only for the visibility part, but the inhalation of the smoke. At least around here, we do have some fresh air coming in. But if you go up there, the smoke is the products of combustion from this wildland fire, or what are they calling it, a brush fire,
That's called 3 or 4 hours of frustration.
It is. It's a lot of frustration going on here. And I've actually, since I've been sitting here, I think a driver fell asleep and actually rolled backwards into another driver, and they were about to have an altercation because of that.
Situation.
Yes, it is.
So what's your strategy now moving forward here? Because you're not going to get anywhere, so you're just going to sit in place until it opens, or
I think it's best for me to shelter in place right now. Caltrans has shut the freeway down going forward, having everybody exit at Roxford Street, and there's too much congestion. I've gone ahead and did my pre-trip. I've put myself in the sleeper berth, which means I have to take a rest period, and then once the fire has burned its way through, I'm hoping that the freeway will open up so I can go ahead and proceed to my shipper and pick up the load so that I can head to Indiana.
Well, you're a smart woman, and we're glad you're safe and taking the appropriate precautions.
Yes.
Thank you, LaShawn.
Yes, thank you.
LaShawn, just one of many drivers, I say hundreds of drivers here now stranded on the 5 freeway, again, shut down in both directions. We've been hearing stories about real dangerous situations, and actually the CHP who was here was telling us that there are numerous amounts of people and drivers stuck on the freeway and deciding to turn around and doing a U-turn on the 5 freeway, which is completely dangerous. We've seen emergency units going northbound on the 5 freeway trying to get to these fire areas, and now you have people going the wrong direction, headed in their direction, creating a really dangerous situation. So the CHP, we've seen a number of other units coming to this area to try and get a handle of the traffic situation here. And I can tell you, we've been driving around through some of the areas of Sylmar, Granada Hill,